Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to Greenville, North Carolina. I want to thank you. And to Mike Pence. Done a great job. Great vice president. Thank you, Mike. And we have all night. We can have a lot of fun tonight. I have nothing to do. Nothing. We have nothing to do but make our country great again, and that's happening fast. It's wonderful to be back in this beautiful state with thousands of hardworking North Carolina patriots, and thank you for your support. And thank you for that very big victory we had 3 years ago. Time is flying. You getting ready? Let's do it again, right? Let's do it again. I just heard that the United States House of Representatives has overwhelmingly voted to kill the most ridiculous project I've ever been involved in, the resolution, how stupid is that, on impeachment. I want to thank those Democrats because many of them voted for us. The vote was a totally lopsided 332 to 95 to 1. 332 to 95. Think of it. We have the strongest economy in history, the lowest unemployment numbers ever. We've rebuilt the most powerful military. It was totally depleted when I took office, and now it's rebuilt. We passed the largest tax cuts and regulation cuts of any president or any administration in history. We took care of our great vets, including Veterans' Choice and Veterans' Accountability. And they want to try and impeach. It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace. So now we have that behind us. And I have to say this, and I'll say it just once. What happened to me with this witch hunt should never be allowed to happen to another president of the United States. Never, ever again. And I want to thank Republican leadership for what they've done for all of us by stopping that hoax, the Russian hoax, I call it. Because America is winning again, America is respected again, and because we are finally putting America first. Our economic policy can be summed up in three very beautiful and simple words: jobs, jobs, jobs. We've created 6 million new jobs since Election Day. If I would have said that, nobody would have believed it. If I would have said that, the fake news would have said he's exaggerating. And I wouldn't have said it because I wasn't even sure we could do it. Think of it, 6 million jobs since Election Day. And by the way, North Carolina has had its best economic year in the history of your state. Our country's added more than 180,000 people to the workforce. And think of that. Through what we've done on a federal basis, you picked up over 180,000 jobs, North Carolina. Think of that. And you have your lowest unemployment rate. You have a lot of good things, but let's not talk too much about North Carolina. Let's win this election nationwide. You remember North Carolina? That was going to be the Clinton firewall. She spent a fortune here. And I kept coming in and coming out. They called it earned media. I earned it. I kept coming in and coming out. And every time I left, I said, I don't think we're losing North Carolina. You know what? I was right. We won it. We won it easily. We won it easily. So I just want to thank everybody. Seriously, this is a big, that was a big deal. November 8th, that was a big deal. Donald Trump has won the great state of North Carolina. It's a big deal. That was when you started to see the folks at a certain other convention. Beautiful looking place. One of the most beautiful venues I've ever seen, but I don't want any part of it. It was unlucky. I don't want any part. But that's when you saw the people say, what the hell is going on? What's happening? And then it was state after state. It was Florida. It was South Carolina. We love South Carolina, right? Better believe it. It was Pennsylvania. Remember, they wouldn't announce the numbers in Pennsylvania. So there was 1% of the vote remaining. If I lost every one of those votes, we still win by a lot. And they wouldn't announce it. They wouldn't announce it. And then we won the great state of Wisconsin. First time in many, many decades that a Republican won. And then we had a surprise, but not a surprise to us, because we're bringing back the auto industry, brought so much back, to the great state of Michigan. That was a shocker. Remember that? You remember a certain hand on that beautiful board? And they said, you know, this board is getting awfully red. That's Republican. There's a lot of red up there. We had a lot of, that was one hell of a night, wasn't it, though? I think it was maybe, you know, there are those that say one of the most extraordinary and exciting evenings in the history of television and the history of anything. And, you know, you can go all over the world. In some cases, it was morning. You go to Asia, you go to Europe, you go all over. It was just record-setting. And here's the point. We have to do it again. We have to do it again. And the reason we have to, not only to do new things, which we will, and, you know, statutorily, and we had all sorts of artificial witch hunts over our head. Can you imagine if we didn't have to go through that hoax? I don't know that we would have done any better. To be honest with you, I think we've done more in 2.5 years than any president ever. First 2.5 years. But could you imagine what it could have been if we didn't have the witch hunt? You said it. You said it. I won't say it because it's a terrible word. So I will not say that this guy said if we didn't have the bullshit. That's right. No, could you imagine if we didn't have the time wasted, the time and everything? Can you imagine? And you know, a friend of mine said, maybe you wouldn't have done as well. Is that possible? That could happen. Maybe we would have had too much time in our hands. Who knows? But I can say nobody in their first 2.5 years has done anywhere close to what we, not me, what we've all done. Sure. So the unemployment rate among African Americans is the lowest in the history of our country. Unemployment among Hispanic Americans, where we're doing really well. You know why? Because they want a strong border. They want it because they understand the border better than anybody. They want that strong border. They want that wall that's being built right now. They want that wall. And they really do. They understand the border better than anybody. And they don't want criminals coming in. They don't want crime coming in. They don't want to lose their jobs. They like the fact that their salaries are going up. Their wages are going up. They understand it better. So Hispanic American, the best unemployment numbers in our history. Asian Americans, the best unemployment numbers in our history. And likewise, women, 74 years. So I'm sorry, women, I let you down. It's not in our history, but we're going to be there very soon. We're going to be there very soon. Women are doing incredibly, and women, the men are going to get angry. Sorry, men. Whoa! Look at all those signs. Women for Trump. Wow, thank you. It's a lot of signs. Do you remember last election? Donald Trump will never, ever get the women. Then we got this tremendous number of women. We got this tremendous number of women, and during the election night, they said, what's going on? You know what's called? Suppression polls. Suppression. Polls are just as fake as the news itself, but women filled 60%, and I'm sorry to tell you this, men, they're going to sue me for discrimination now. Women filled 60% of all of the new jobs created last year. Women took 60%. What's wrong with you, men? But the radical Democrats are trying to destroy all of our country's tremendous achievement and our country's tremendous success. Unprecedented. We've had unprecedented success. Leaders come in from other countries, prime ministers, presidents, kings, queens, dictators sometimes, I hate to say it, dictators. And they all start off by saying, Mr. President, I'd like to congratulate you on the incredible economy that you've created, the greatest anywhere in the world by far. And sadly, China, who I have a very good relationship with President Xi, I really like him, but China has had, yesterday was announced, the worst year in 27 years. And we've had the best. And if our opponent ever got into office, instead of being up 62%, instead of those 401ks of yours being up 60, 70, 80, 90%, crash. Big crash. You would have had a crash the likes of which we have never seen before if they got in office. Because we freed up our country, we freed up our economy, especially with regulation cuts, but also with those big, beautiful tax cuts. We freed it up. The leading voices of the Democrat Party are left-wing extremists who reject everything our nation stands for. But again, I have to tell you, this vote was so big, I have to thank many of the Democrats. I mean, that was an amazing. No, I really do. I respect it. I really do. That was a slaughter. But many of those people that voted for us this afternoon, in somewhat of a sneak attack, a real sneak attack, many of those people that voted for us were Democrats, and I want to thank them because they did the right thing for our country. Republicans know that America is the greatest force for peace and justice in the history of our world. But these left-wing ideologues see our nation as a force of evil, the way they speak so badly of our country. They want to demolish our Constitution, weaken our military, eliminate the values that built this magnificent country. You have to look at some of their recent comments, which are never talked about. When you see the 4 congresswomen, oh, isn't that lovely? I'll give you just a couple. I have pages and pages, but we don't want to bore you. We don't want to go too long. But we have to give a couple, because that's the great thing about live television. They can't cut it. Representative Ilhan Omar, of a really great state. I almost won, the first time in decades and decades, Minnesota. Great state. By the way, I keep hearing how much enthusiasm is in the radical left. I don't think they have enthusiasm. They're just fighting with each other. We have all of the enthusiasm. He goes home now to mommy, and he gets reprimanded, and that's the end. Sorry, mommy. Sorry, Mom. Didn't mean to embarrass you, Mom. But it's true. We have the enthusiasm, folks. Look at this. Look at this. And by the way, thousands and thousands of people outside and people that couldn't get in. Thousands. We've got all the enthusiasm. They're fighting each other. They've gone so far left, nobody wants to even think about it. So Representative Omar blamed the United States for the terrorist attacks on our country, saying that terrorism is a reaction to our involvement in other people's affairs. She smeared U.S. service members involved in Black Hawk Down. In other words, she slandered the brave Americans who were trying to keep peace in Somalia. Omar minimized the September 11th attacks on our homeland, saying some people did something. I don't think so. Some people did something. Yeah, some people did something, all right. She pleaded for compassion for ISIS recruits attempting to join the terrorist organization. She was looking for compassion. Omar laughed that Americans speak of al-Qaeda in a menacing tone and remarked that you don't say America with this intensity. You say al-Qaeda makes you proud. Al-Qaeda makes you proud. You don't speak that way about America. And at a press conference just this week, when asked whether she supported al-Qaeda, that's our enemy. That's our enemy. They are a very serious problem that we take care of, but they always seem to come along somewhere. She refused to answer. She didn't want to give an answer to that question. Omar blamed the United States for the crisis in Venezuela. I mean, think of that one. And she looks down with contempt on the hard-working Americans, saying that ignorance is pervasive in many parts of this country. And obviously and importantly, Omar has a history of launching vicious anti-Semitic screeds. 9, she talked about the evil Israel, and it's all about the Benjamins. Not a good thing to say. So that's Omar. That's Omar. And by the way, many other things. All you have to do is press the right button on your beautiful screen, and you'll see thing after. You didn't hear this over the last 2 days, though. Did you hear anybody talk about that? Her colleague, Representative Rashida Tlaib, agreed with Omar's characterization of 9/11 and said that members of Congress who support Israel forgot what country they represent. And Tlaib also used the F word to describe the presidency and your president. That's not nice, even for me. She was describing the president of the United States and the presidency with the big, fat, vicious, the way she said it, vicious F word. That's not somebody that loves our country. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Check out her scores, by the way, with her new Green New Deal. The Green New Deal, where did that come from? She's conducted outrageous attacks against men and women of law enforcement. She compared American border agents managing a humanitarian crisis that I always said was a humanitarian crisis, and they said it was manufactured. They don't say it was manufactured, and we're stopping it. And I want to thank Mexico. They've got 21,000 soldiers now stopping people from coming into our country. But Cortez, somebody said that's not her name. They said, that's not her name, sir. I said, no. I don't have time to go with 3 different names. We'll call her Cortez. Too much time. Takes too much time. So Cortez also, she said, essentially, Nazis are running concentration camps. And when Mike Pence went down just a few days ago with members of Congress and the media, and you looked at those so-called horrible concentration camps, they said, wow, these places are clean. Wow, they have air conditioning. They have water. And, you know, to be honest, it's not like they came and we want to take care of people. We got to straighten out our immigration laws. You know, in a very short period of time, if the Democrats would give us a few votes, we could solve the immigration problem, and it would be so great. It'd be so great. But these kids and these people come from rough places. And I'll tell you what, some of them said, we've never lived like this before. They have water, they have air conditioning, they have things that they've never seen. And we listened to her talking about drinking water from toilets, which was a lie, which was a lie. Cortez said that illegal immigrants are more American than any person who seeks to keep them out ever will be. Can you believe that? That's what she's saying. She described contemporary America, that's you, that's me, that's all of us, as garbage. Garbage. Or garbage. You remember deplorables, right? That sounds worse. I think that's worse. But we'll save it for whoever's going to be the nominee. And right now, Sleepy Joe's not looking too good. Pocahontas Pocahontas is gaining a little bit because we probably used the Pocahontas a little bit too early, but that's okay. We'll bring it out of retirement very soon. They have a new one who knocked the hell out of Biden during a debate. He said, I wasn't prepared for that question. That's not a good answer. Can you imagine? And according to the polls, I won every single debate, Republican and against Hillary. Can you imagine? Those are the polls. They will admit that. Many, many polls. But can you imagine if I said, oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't prepared for that question. I'm gone. That's the end of Trump. He's not prepared. He's not mentally prepared. That's his problem. But everybody that knows him knows that. But no, Harris hit him with a pretty easy question on busing. What? I would say that's pretty easy. And he choked. He choked. And then he said, I'm sorry, I ran out of time. He ran out of time. And then you have a young guy, Buttigieg. They're saying how to say his name. Buttigieg. He's a beauty. He runs a failed city. His city is doing so badly. Mike Pence was the governor of that state. I said, how was he as the mayor? Mike is one of the nicest human beings you'll ever meet. He said, and Mike said he never did a good job. I'm so shocked to see him running. Okay? And then he goes back home, and African Americans literally were so angry at him for the lousy job, and he's supposed to be like a hot young star. If that's a hot young star, I guess I just don't know stardom anymore. That is not a star. That's not a star. Boot, edge, edge. You say boot, and then add edge, edge. Boot, edge, edge. I don't see him dealing with President Xi of China. I don't see him meeting successfully with Kim Jong-un. I don't see him dealing, and nobody has been tougher with Russia than Donald Trump. I don't see him dealing with Vladimir Putin. And we have good relationships with them and many others. Except now we're no longer the suckers. Like with NATO, we protect Europe. We spend hundreds of billions of dollars, and they're not paying their fair share. So last year, I said, folks, sorry, you got to pay your fair share. 16 years it was going like this, the contribution. And now it's like a rocket ship. $100 billion. And I said to him, great people, 28 nations, including the U.S., I said to him, listen, we're taking care of you. You screw us on trade, and you don't pay your military bills. This is not a good deal for the United States. So we're taking care of trade. We want to do it nice and slow and easy. You know, we got a world balance. But the European Union is terrible to us on trade, terrible. Frankly, they're as tough or tougher than China, just smaller numbers. That's the only difference. With China, $507 billion. You look over the years, for many, many years, they've been taken. And guys like Biden say, oh, well, we'd stop it. Well, he was there 8 years. We'd stop that. No, Trump is stopping it. Trump is stopping it. So Representative Ayanna Pressley, is she related in any way to Elvis? I don't know. Who knows? You never know. She thinks that people with the same skin color all need to think the same. She said, we don't need any more brown faces that don't want to be brown voices. We don't need black faces that don't want to be a black voice. And just this week, can you imagine if I said that? It would be over, right? it would be over. It would be over. But we'd find a way to survive, right? We always do. Here we are. Here we are. We find a way. Gotta always find a way. Just this week, she refused to condemn the Antifa. These are bad people. You notice? You notice they always attack people that really have never been attacked before. They attack, and I don't want to be disrespectful to people that have taken a lot of shots to the face, but they wouldn't attack some of these people in this room. They're not attacking bikers for Trump. They're not attacking construction workers for Trump. They're not attacking law enforcement or military for Trump. You know what they're attacking? A single man standing there with a camera who never got hit and never hit back before in his life. They don't attack the people that we wish they attacked. That wouldn't be a pretty picture. That wouldn't look too good for them. But they don't. It's very, very sad. Antifa, these are bad people. These are sick, bad people. Remember that. These are bad people. These are bad people, Antifa. They don't get the bad press. The press doesn't want to talk to them. They are very evil. They're hitting people over the head with sticks. And I mean sticks. I mean bats even. They're whacking people with bats. They're very brave. They always show up with a mask and they're covered. Because then they go home to mom and dad. They don't want mom and dad to know where they were. But they always attack people that really can't defend themselves very well, right? They're not attacking this group. They're not attacking North Carolina. So these congresswomen, their comments are helping to fuel the rise of a dangerous, militant hard left. But that's okay, because we're going to win this election like nobody's ever seen before. And tonight I have a suggestion for the hate-filled extremists who are constantly trying to tear our country down. They never have anything good to say. That's why I say, hey, if they don't like it, let them leave. Let them leave. Let them leave. They're always telling us how to run it, how to do this, how to do that. You know what? If they don't love it, tell them to leave it. I don't know. And now watch, I'll go back tonight. Oh, sir, that was so controversial. Sir. No, I'm just saying it's their choice. They can come back when they want. But, you know, they don't love our country. I think in some cases they hate our country. And they're so angry. Even yesterday, they went on the stage. I said, let me watch this. And the anger, they were trying to be nice, but it's hard. It's hard for them to do that. The choice for every American has never been more clear. That's true. The Democrat agenda is anti-worker, anti-jobs, anti-citizen, anti-family, and anti-common sense. With the exception of all of those Democrats that voted for us today. We'll give them a push. They're fine. They're fine. They are fine, and they, you know, you lose to them, it's different. It's okay. It's called normal political back and forth. But I want to tell you something. The Democrats are being so violent, so vicious, moving so far left. It's out of control. It's out of control. The Republican agenda is pro-worker, pro-jobs, pro-family, pro-growth, and 100% pro-American. So we're thrilled tonight to be joined by several North Carolina Republican leaders, really great people. They've been so helpful to me, and they're doing an incredible job. Lieutenant Governor Dan Forest. North Carolina Treasurer Dale Folwell. Greenville Mayor P.J. Connolly. I hear he does a good job. P.J. And North Carolina GOP Chair Michael Whatley. I want to also thank, and I'll tell you, he's been a warrior for the last 3 months, really a warrior, when we needed him most, Senator Tom Tillis. Thank you, Tom. He really has. He's been really good. And we got to get out and work and make sure he gets reelected. And also, Representatives Mark Walker and Richard Hudson. And two friends of mine that decided, you know, they had a choice. They could stay back and fight the hoax of impeachment, or they could be here and bask in the glory of victory. I said, do me a favor, stay back. Mark Meadows and Mrs. Meadows is here right now. Deb is here. Thank you, Deb. These are warriors. And another one who's just incredible. NCAA wrestling champion, great guy. He wanted to stay back. I said, you sure you don't want to come? I do want to come. But I really want you to win today, if you don't mind. I said, okay, you better stay back. If I see you here, I'm going to be very angry. And they did their job, didn't they? This man is from the great state of Ohio, Congressman Jim Jordan. And we're going to do this quickly, but it's just important that you get out and vote. They're two great people. I want to introduce the next member of Congress from North Carolina's 3rd Congressional District. Just won a great race, Dr. Greg Murphy. Greg is a winner.
Thank you, President Trump, for coming back to Eastern North Carolina. This is Trump country. And I promise if elected your congressman, I will be a congressman that has our president's back. The third district is not going to elect another Pelosi congressman. It is not going to do that. So we thank him for coming to Eastern North Carolina, and we are here to support him. Thank you all.
So, you know, Greg will be great on jobs, all the things you want, tough on crime, strong on borders, pushing the wall. He'll be pushing it like nobody, but we're building the wall, but we're pushing it. It's like pulling teeth. We've got 6 lawsuits on the wall. We've won 2 of them. We're going to win others. But you think it's easy, don't you, folks? You think this is easy. But we're building a lot of wall, and we hope if we can win that final one, so important, it's going before the Supreme Court, we'll have over 400 miles of wall built by the end of next year. So go out, get Greg elected. Great victory, by the way. That was a great primary and a great victory. That same day, there's another crucial election in North Carolina's 9th. You know what, right? You know what we're talking about? 9th. I know it's not here, but it's very close, right? 9th Congressional District. The Democrat in the race is an ultra-liberal named Dan McCready. Wants to take away your guns. He wants to raise your taxes. He doesn't care about borders. He likes open borders. And he really admires socialism. I don't think that works too well in North Carolina. Doesn't work too well in our country. We're joined tonight by the Republican candidate who is really a special man, a great man. He's going to be a great, great congressman, Dan Bishop. Dan.
So as President Trump said, there are two Dans in this race. Dan McCready said that Donald Trump is the greatest threat to democracy ever and backed crooked Hillary. Dan McCready took money from Ilhan Omar. And Mr. President, Dan McCready wants to repeal your tax cuts. Now, he would be the wrong Dan. As for me, I'm going to go to Washington and I'm going to stand with President Donald J. Trump. And that makes me the right Dan. And with the help of President Trump, we're going to win the 9th district. So go to votedanbishop.com, sign up and help. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Dan. And he will indeed defend your values, your family, and he will always defend our Second Amendment. Unlike their opponents, they're really into destroying our Second Amendment. So everyone from the 9th District, go out and vote for Dan Bishop. Very special man. Two very, very special people. On the issue of everything, a lot of issues, Democrats have put the needs of foreign citizens far ahead of our own citizens. Nowhere in this world is there anything like what's happening with immigration, how bad it is. The Democrats' open border policies deplete our public services, overcrowd our schools and hospitals, and bring crime, drugs, and deadly gangs into our community. The Democrats want to spend more money on health care for an illegal immigrant than they do for a citizen of the United States. So, just 2 days ago, our Department of Justice charged 22 members of the savage, brutal, horrible gang MS-13 in California. Who've been violently operating for more than 10 years. We got them all. We think they are no good. With conducting brutal medieval-style killings. You know what medieval style is? Okay? Little pieces, little pieces, little pieces, medieval style, including the dismemberment of their victims. And they enjoyed every minute of it. These are sick people. When I called them animals, Nancy Pelosi said, how dare he use that name? These are human beings. I don't think they're human beings. Most of those indicted were in our country illegally, 19 to be exact, 19 of 22. Think of that. They want to protect. These are savage beasts. These are savage killers. And they should have been brought out a long time ago by the Obama administration. We're bringing MS-13 out by the thousands, getting them the hell out of our country. And when you read about deportation and Sunday, we've got a lot of people on Sunday, but we have a lot of people, and we're always shooting for the bad ones first, which makes sense, right? But when you hear about that, we always want to get And by the way, do you know how dangerous it is for these ICE agents, these ICE and Border Patrol? But ICE, they go into a nest. They call it a nest. A nest of these killers. They're tough, they're smart, and you know what? They're great patriots. They love our country. The danger that they have is incredible. And I just want to salute, and I have to tell you, I want to salute ICE and Border Patrol, and I want to support and salute law enforcement in the United States. These are great people. These are great people, and they don't get the credit they deserve, but you know what? I tell them all the time, you have no idea how much the American people, the American public, you have no idea how much they love you and respect you. Law enforcement. In the recent Democrat debate, every single candidate, everyone, Biden was a little bit slower with the hand. It didn't work so well. They raised their hand in favor of giving free government health care. They raised their hand in giving a lot of other things that I don't think you're going to be happy with. Illegal aliens will be very nicely covered. How about California? They just approved $100 million. They just approved $100 million to take care of the needs of illegal immigrants. And then you look on the sidewalks of Los Angeles, the sidewalks of San Francisco, Nancy Pelosi's district. Nobody's ever seen anything like it in the history of our country, what's happening there. So if you don't want Democrats to raid your health care, to steal away your money, to bankrupt your country, then you have a choice. You must vote Republican. All American citizens, including millions and millions of legal immigrants who work hard to come into our country, who study, who wait online sometimes for 10 years, and who respect our laws and followed the rules, they deserve a government that is loyal to them. They work hard. You can't say you love our country if you want to destroy it through open borders. Open borders are a disaster. Human trafficking. You know, the first time I heard as a politician human trafficking, nobody talks about it. It sounded almost like an ancient crime. Many, many years ago, hundreds of years, thousands of years ago, human trafficking. It's the worst now throughout the world because of the internet. It's the worst it's ever been. And the worst treated of all, children, but it's women. Women. The Democrats want to do nothing about it. Human trafficking is worse than it ever has been in the history of the world. Not just this. This is not a United States problem. This is all over the world. Human trafficking. It's a terrible, terrible thing, and we got to solve it. You know, most of it comes through, in this country, our southern border where we don't have the wall. They're not going through our points. They're not going through areas where we have security, where we have guards, where we have gates, where we have all sorts of equipment. No, they ride through the desert and they make a left where you don't have the wall. It's so simple. Everybody knows it. You know, the Democrats all know it because 5 years ago, before I was here, they all wanted it. Now they don't want it. You know why they don't want it? For political reasons. And you know what? It's going to cost them a lot of points in the election. I think probably cost them the election. And just lastly, Democrats also support deadly sanctuary cities which release violent criminal aliens onto our streets. You know, where we just picked up these 22 thugs, these 22 monsters, we just picked them up in where? Los Angeles. Sanctuary city, wonderful sanctuary city. Tom Tillis, senator, recently introduced a bill to give American victims the right to sue sanctuary cities and hold them accountable for the thousands of lives they have shattered. They've shattered these lives. Thank you very much, Tom. Every nation has the right to establish and enforce immigration rules in its national interest. It's very simple, isn't it? It's common sense. It's so simple, and the voters understand it. We expect that those who seek to join our society will obey our laws, revere our Constitution, cherish our history, support themselves financially, and embrace our American values and love our American flag. We believe in an immigration system based on merit. Merit, where they come in. We have so many companies coming in, automobile companies, companies of all types. And we need workers. We actually need workers. We have the lowest unemployment rate that we've had in 51 years. Soon it'll be the lowest ever. We need workers, but they have to come in where they can help our country. They have to come in based on merit. And we're putting in bills, and let's see what happens. Otherwise, we'll just wait till we win back the House, win the Senate, win the presidency, and we'll vote. Democrats have never been further outside of the mainstream. They're going crazy, folks. They're going crazy. More than 130 Democrats in Congress have signed up for Bernie Sanders' total government takeover of health care. Isn't that nice? This is one of the great It won't happen. He knows that. You know, the guy never passed the bill. He did nothing. He's actually not even a Democrat. Isn't he an independent? I don't know. He's running, but he missed his time. Hey, Bernie, let me save you a lot of time and effort, Bernie. You missed your time. It got taken from you 4 years ago, Bernie. Not doing too well. He's not doing too well, but that's okay. You got to hand it to him. He's up there ranting and raving and going like a lunatic. I said to our First Lady the other day, I was watching Bernie, and he's screaming. His hair's all crazy. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. No more college loans. No more costs for anything. Nothing. You're not going to pay for anything. I mean, he's desperate now. He's desperate. You don't have to pay for anything. You know, I joked. I said, and everybody will get a free Rolls Royce. Every family gets a free Rolls Royce. Every family. And the media said, Donald Trump is exaggerating. He knows that they're not getting a Rolls Royce. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Don't put it. Don't put it. Don't put it. Don't put that I said free Rolls Royce. No, but Bernie's desperate now. I watch him up there. It's a sad situation. But I think they're all sad when you get right down to it. For instance, okay, we're in this incredible state, North Carolina. Now you have your best economy that you've ever had. Forget the country for a second. You have the best economy you've ever had. You have your best unemployment numbers. You have the most people working than at any time in the history of your state. You have your best black unemployment numbers, best Hispanic unemployment numbers, best women unemployment numbers, best Asian unemployment numbers. Okay. Okay. All right. So what's whoever the opponent is, what they're going to do, say, North Carolina, I'm going to do a great job. You have the best numbers in the history of our country in your state. So I don't know. And we won by a lot. And we won by a lot. You know, I was telling Mike, I was telling my son, Eric Trump, and Laura's here, by the way, who was born in North Carolina. Oh, they do a good job. Laura, do you love this state? So, and her brother's here. I have to tell you, he went to this college. And Brad Parscale is here, the world's tallest campaign manager in the history of the world. He's the tallest in the history, but most importantly, he's the best. World's tallest manager, but he's the best manager. Thank you, Brad. Great job. And he just told me our poll numbers are through the roof. He just told me that, so I'll take that. I mean, we are a year and a half away, but we're doing well. You see it. You'd know. You'd be the first to know. Number one, you wouldn't be here. Okay? You wouldn't be here. We haven't had an empty seat in any event I don't believe that we've ever been to. I don't think we've ever had. We always have people. We haven't had an empty seat. You look, I mean, anywhere. North Carolina, Ohio, no matter where we go, we pack it. And we have thousands and thousands of people, and we put screens outside, and tonight's not so good. We got 100 degrees out. But you still have thousands of people out there. We could have sold this arena out. You know that. We could have sold this arena out tonight 10 times. Can you believe that? 10 times. Which I think that's like a poll, right? That's like a poll, because when Biden goes out, I see Sleepy Joe. He says, they had 115 people show up, 115 people. That's our first row. That's our first row, right? Right? The Democrat record on health care is one of deception and destruction. The last administration said, a lie. If you like your plan, you can keep your plan. If you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. 28 times. A total lie. My administration is defending your sacred right to choose the doctor and the plan that you want. And we are offering plans up to 60% cheaper than Obamacare. And a lot of people are starting to figure that out. Better health care. And we'll also always protect peace. And you have to remember this. Are you ready? Because they give us a bum rap. Patients with pre-existing conditions are protected by Republicans much more so than protected by Democrats who will never be able to pull it off. Pre-existing conditions. And you know, the job we've done on health care, it's not talked about, but we're also doing something. It's been phenomenal. We have 180 million people right now really happy on private plans. And you know what? They're going to be taken away. Under the Democrats' plan, all of those people that are thrilled where they went out and negotiated, crossed state lines, all of the things they did, they went out, negotiated great private plans. It's all going to be taken away from you under this plan. Now, I only hope they don't change because, you know, we're talking too soon. We got a year and a half left. It's like when I called Pocahontas. I should have waited 6 months because she then went out and got that test. 1,024th. And I've always said I have more Indian blood in me than she has in her, and I have none. I have none. But it's more than she has. 1,024. But I brought it up too soon, so I don't talk about it anymore. But if she should be the candidate, which I tend to doubt, but if she should be, we'll bring it up again, and I think it'll be very successful. 1,024th. How about this? I was driving her crazy. So she went out and hired a guy to check the blood. I'm sure he had a lot of fun doing that. He checked her blood and found out that many, 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 many years ago, there could have been somebody, and he could have been Indian. And then the Indians got together and they said, we don't want her. We don't want her. Yeah. We want Trump. We want Trump. They want Trump. We've taken historic action. taken historic action to fight the opioid epidemic. What a problem. And just today, it was just announced before I came in, that drug overdose deaths, we're working so hard on this, including our vice president, including our first lady, including everybody in the Trump administration. It's dropped for the first time in more than 30 years. It's gone down. First time. It's a big problem. And in North Carolina, we're far from finished. It's a big problem. It declined 8% last year. That's a lot, because it was just going up like a rocket ship. Virtually every top Democrat also now supports late-term abortion, ripping babies straight from the mother's womb, right up until the moment of birth. Well, then you have the gentleman from, our governor from Virginia. So we're talking about late term. He's talking about the baby is born before the mother makes the decision. That was the first. That's the first I've heard of it. That's the first most of you have heard of it. And then they passed legislation in various states saying that's okay. This is a baby that's born. This isn't late term. This is a baby that's born. Nobody's ever heard anything like that. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. And that actually, when he had the scandal, that became, can you believe it, the second biggest story. Can you believe that, how important it is? And yet that was the second biggest story. And what a shame when that's the second biggest story. What happened to our values? Republicans believe that every life is a sacred gift of God. And that's why I've asked Congress to prohibit extreme late-term abortion of babies. Democrats are now the party of high taxes, high crime, open borders, late-term abortion, intolerance, and division. The Republican Party is the party for all Americans and American values. We are the party of the American worker, the American family, and we are the party of the American dream. About the dream. This is the proud banner the Republican Party will carry into the Republican National Convention next summer in the great city of Charlotte, North Carolina. Don't disappoint me. That should be good for at least 10 points, right? These are some of the greatest ladies. I see them in Ohio and Florida. We love you too. Thank you, really. How many have you been to? Just out of curiosity. What's the number? All but 2. I've done hundreds of them. And then they say women don't like Trump. I think they do. You know? No, I see them. They're great. Great ladies. You're great. You know, it's interesting with women. So women want to have strong military protection. They want to have strong borders. They want to have strong law enforcement. They want to have great education. They want to have low taxes for their family, not high taxes. They want to have all the things that we talk about. Why wouldn't they want Trump more than anybody else? The other side is going to go the opposite, right? And they did in the last election, and we're doing a lot better. You know, the difference is, the last election, I was a successful businessman running for president. I said I was going to do things, and by the way, really successful. I'm going to show you something someday soon. I'm going to show you something. You know, they say he was really successful, he wasn't successful, he's really smart, or he's really stupid, but he's trying to take over the world. You know, they have so many messages. He's really stupid. Then next week, Donald Trump has a sinister plot to take over the world. You can't be too stupid. Because they actually think it's working, right? I saw one of these so-called comedians the other day. I mean, he's, you know, a pretty respected comedian. He said, he's not leaving. Well, I'm telling you, he's not leaving. He'll never leave. He'll win this election, And in 24, I'm telling you, he's not leaving. He's going to stop. So we did, through our friend Dan Scavino, we did a Time magazine cover. I was on so many times I don't even read this thing. And it says Trump, 2014, 2018, right? But it says 20, here's where we go. We start at 16, we go to 20, we go to 24. Did you see it? Then it says 28, 32, 36, 40, 44. No, we don't need any more time. We don't need any more time. We need one more. A senator came to my office, sir. I'm 6 for 7. I'm great. I'm 6 for 7, sir. I can give you great advice. I said, Senator, I'm 1 for 1, but it happened to be the president. And now I want to be 2 for 2. 2 for 2. 2 for 2. So we have 16, we have 20, we have 24. And you know what's very interesting, though? There are really people out there think I'm not leaving. Can you believe it? Hey, maybe that is a good idea. Let's think about it. Watch. You want to drive them crazy? They're going to go crazy. All I have to do is say, let's think about it. They're going to go crazy. No. I promise. 2024, I leave. By that time, just so you know, by that time, our country will be so well seated, it will be so strong, like never, ever in our history. But everything that we've built, low taxes, strong military, taking care of our vets, all of the things we've done, can be decimated very quickly if the wrong person gets in, especially now. You know, I've always said 2016 was the most important election maybe in the history of our country. A lot of people felt that. So I don't know. I can't say this is more important. What we did was a miracle. Not to us it wasn't, but a lot of people said it was the greatest election we've ever had. There's never been anything like it. Never been such excitement. Never been such excitement. But you know what? If we don't win in 2020, everything that we've done, seriously though, everything that we've done, your 401s, they're going to crash. The whole thing, it's going to come down like a stack of cards. So in a certain way, let's say this is of equal importance. By that time, we'll have values instilled. We'll have free enterprise instilled. People are working now. We have the lowest food stamps that we've had in many years, lowest food stamp because people are working. So I really think it's, you know, at least equal. It's equal. Maybe it's a little less. Who the hell knows? I just know this. It can disappear very, very quickly. We have to get out. We have to vote. That's why I'm starting early. I mean, can you believe it? We have less. I mean, I see all these clowns on television. I say, I guess we have to counteract them a little bit. But this is not what you want running. None of them. This is not what you want running this incredible country of ours. Every day we make good on the motto, promises made, promises kept. I've had people back there. I've had people back there that don't like me. And somebody said, very nicely, that he's actually made certain promises and he's actually kept more promises than he's made. It's true. I mean, I've done things that I never said we were going to get, as an example with our vets, that we were going to get choice, that we were going to have the ability to fire people that don't treat our vets properly. Okay? We can fire them now. They've been trying to get that for 44 years. Choice they've been trying to get practically from the beginning. Choice, so simple. And yet, they never got it. Nobody got it through. We're good at getting things through. We've done more than we said we would. And a man I know who I don't like, a businessman, very, very, very successful business, one of the most successful men. I don't like him, never liked him. He never liked me either, by the way. In fact, I would go a step further. He cannot stand me. And I saw him about 2 months ago. And he came up to me. I said, how you doing? Very warm, you know. Hey. How you doing? Oh, let's get out of here. And he said, I'm doing good. You're doing good? I said, yeah. I said, you know, you don't like me, and I don't like you. I never have liked you, and you never have liked me. But you're going to support me because you're a rich guy. And if you don't support me, you're going to be so goddamn poor, you're not going to believe it. Yeah. 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 And he said to me, Mr. President, you know, he calls me Mr. President. Everybody calls me Mr. President. It's true. It's a funny thing. He said, Mr. President, you're right. I'm supporting you. I think you're doing a great job. And maybe we didn't get along, but it's not like he has a choice. He has no choice. And on top of that, it's a good choice because we've done the right thing. And it is funny, you know, with the name Mr. President. So I have friends, really good friends. And they've always called me Don, Donald, DJ. They call me anything, right? And you lose all your friends when you're president because they're all afraid to talk to you. Does that make sense? No, it's true. Except for these 6, 7 ladies up here. They always talk. They're not intimidated. No, it's true. I have guys, I have wonderful friends. New York developers, tough guys, smart guys. They're rich. They're this, that. I have middle of the road. I have poor. I have everybody. I have poor guys, middle of the road, and rich guys. Doesn't matter. Rich guys call up. Mr. President, how are you, sir? It's Richard. Oh, good, Rich. Hey, Richard, loosen up. This is a guy used to, hey, Don, how you doing? Let's go to dinner. Now, sir, is everything, you're doing good, sir. I said, Richard, call me Donald like you always did. Call me Donald. Always call me Donald. Okay, thank you, Donald. Thank you very much. And then 2 minutes later, Mr. President, it's been so great. I lost all my friends. They've tightened up. They've choked. You know what that is? They've choked. They can't breathe because people have such respect for the office of the presidency. They have respect for the office of the president. They have respect for our country again. Our country is respected again. We've confirmed more than 125 federal judges to apply the law as written, including 2 Supreme Court justices, Neil Gorsuch and Brett Kavanaugh. We've launched a historic initiative to reduce the price of prescription drugs. And last year, I'm so proud of this because we have no help from the Democrats. Last year, for the first time in over 50 years, drug prices went down. And that was for a reason. To give former prisoners a second chance at life, we passed groundbreaking criminal justice reform. It's a big thing. You know, prisoners, they've got out of jail, and they never had an economy like this, and we did a lot of things. Because they get out of jail, they don't have a chance. They always go back, most of the time. Now they're coming out, and we have programs, but most importantly, we have this great economy where people are hiring prisoners, and you have to see the reviews they're getting. They're getting phenomenal reviews. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing what's happening with prisoners. They get out, and they can actually get a job, and that's what's happening. We're very proud of it. We're expanding Opportunity Zones so that no American is left behind. It's one of the great successes, the Opportunity Zones. Nobody talks about it. It's one of the great successes. And thanks to our pledge to America's workers, private sector partners will provide apprenticeships and job training to 9 million Americans. Isn't that nice? And whenever I hear that word apprentice, I say, I love that word. That was a good show. They figured, you know what we'll do? We'll get Arnold Schwarzenegger to take my place. That didn't work out too well. That didn't work out too well. We had 14 seasons. Think of that. The Apprentice. I've proudly signed 4 bipartisan human trafficking laws, securing $400 million to support victims of human trafficking. And we have secured, soon to be 3 years, record funding for our military. We want to cut budgets, but this is beyond budget. I withdrew the United States from the horrible, one-sided, disgusting Iran nuclear deal, and Iran is a different country today than it was. My administration proudly recognized the true capital of Israel and opened the American embassy in Jerusalem. That was someday. They all said, many presidents have said, we're going to do it. Then they never did. I know why, because the pressure on them was enormous not to do it. And then on top of it, a couple of months ago, I just approved the Golan Heights for Israel. The Golan Heights. Another thing. 52 years they tried to do that. They didn't get it done. So we're doing good. We also recognize the legitimate government of Venezuela, and we condemn those that want to stop freedom in that country and other countries. Tonight, we renew our resolve that America will never be a socialist country, will never, ever be a socialist country. It just won't happen. A vote for any Democrat in 2020 is a vote for the rise of radical socialism and the destruction of the American dream. Frankly, the destruction of our country. That's what's going to happen. Take a look around. Their party is afflicted with an ideological sickness that protects foreign borders, but refuses to protect our own borders. Think of it. They fight all over the world. A lot of those people are coming back home, folks. They're coming back home a lot. We defeated ISIS, the caliphate in Syria. We're bringing our soldiers back home. ISIS does not like me too much. But I came here, and it was a mess. It was a mess. And I met with generals. General, believe it or not, one general, his name is Raisin. I said, what's your name? Sir. This guy's like out of a movie. Sir. Watch, he's going to be famous after this, but who cares? What's your name? He goes, sir, my name is Raisin. I said, Raisin? Like, you mean a little raisin? Yes, sir. It's my name. That's what they call me. What's your last name? Kane. I said, you mean your name is Raisin Kane? You got to be... I said, Raisin Kane, you're my kind of general. Let me talk to you, Raisin Kane. Get over here. And my previous generals said it's going to be a long time before we take out the caliphate. I said to Raisin Kane and a couple of other generals that were there, these guys are central casting, like from a movie, except better. They're stronger, bigger, tougher, meaner, and actually better looking in a certain way. But they're like from a movie. There's nobody in Hollywood plays a role like this. I said, generals, I've been told it's going to take a year, 2 years to get 100%. Remember, I wanted to pull them out. We're down to 1%. Everyone went crazy. Explain that one. But they said it was going to take a long time. I said to Raisin Kane and the other generals, General, how long can it take? They said, sir, 1 month. I said, what? We're going to hit him from the front. We're going to hit him from the back. We're going to hit him from the side, sir. We're going to hit them like they never got hit before. We were never allowed to do this, sir. Yeah. And we're not just going to hit them from our temporary base in Syria, sir. We're going to hit them from Iraq. We're going to hit them from places that they never knew existed, sir. They'll be hit so goddamn hard, sir. They will be, thank you very much, very shortly, very, very shortly, it was over. We had 100% of the caliphate. And these people were screwing around for years. Obama, President Obama. My generals did a great job. I flew there. I flew to Iraq, remember? I'm in Air Force One. And they notified me, sir, we're 45 minutes out, sir. We have to close all windows. We have to turn off all lights in the plane, sir. All windows, all lights have to be off, sir. We're turning off the lights outside and the runway lights, sir. They're going to be at a very dim, frankly, if you're not a 30-year-old pilot, you can't see them. Because I went there. I said, I don't see any light, pilot, as we're landing. I said, I don't see. And then I thought to myself, think of it. We've spent almost $8 trillion in the Middle East, and we got to turn off the lights of an airplane to land. How bad is that? They didn't do their job. We did our job, and the military did their job. But we fight to sort of just keep going. We don't fight to win. I fight to win. I fight to win. I fight to win. So we're landing this big, beautiful Air Force One, and I'm saying, Major, I don't see a runway. Yes, sir, it's right up ahead. You know, guy's 30 years old or something. No, he says, now they'll get me in that. They'll say, Majors aren't 30, so maybe he's 35, whatever he is. They're saying, yes, sir, it's right there. I don't see it, Major. How about lifting up? Let's go around. That's the last thing we want to do in that part of the world. He said, sir, it's right there, sir. And we're landing, and I still haven't seen a light. But these guys, we have the greatest pilots in the world. We have the greatest military in the world. We have the greatest equipment in the world. In the world. So you must never forget the 2020 election is all about one thing, you. It's about you. It's about your family. It's about your future and the fate of your beautiful, loving country. And that's what it is. We begin our North Carolina campaign with the best record, the best results, the best agenda, and the only positive vision for our nation's future. We love our nation. Our nation is great today. It's going to be much greater. Every year it's getting better and better. We have turned this big, beautiful, mighty ship. We have turned it around. It's getting better, better, better. Together, we will continue unleashing the power of American enterprise so every American can know the dignity of work and the pride of a paycheck. With your help, we will elect a Republican Congress, those great gentlemen that just left us there, to create a safe, modern, fair, and lawful system of immigration. We will enact trade deals, and they are going like you won't even believe. That doesn't mean the other countries are thrilled with me. There was a recent poll. Germany likes Obama better than Trump. A lot better. I said, of course, because I'm making them pay their bills. I'm saying you got to pay. I say, Angela, you got to pay, Angela. Obama would go in, make a speech, leave. I go in, make a speech. I say, let me speak to Angela. Angela, you got to pay your bills. You're way behind. So I would think that they should. They should all like it. When you hear they like me better, I'm not doing my job. I'm not doing my job. They did a poll on one of these networks, and there was a Donald Trump is not liked in Europe nearly as much as President Obama. I said, or President Bush, or anybody. Or anybody. In fact, I'm disliked, but actually they respect us. That's more important. Look at that beautiful baby. Look at that beautiful baby. Wow, what a baby. What a baby. That is a beautiful baby. That's like from an advertisement. Perfect. But look how happy that baby is. So beautiful. Thank you, darling. That's really nice. So it's a great thing. Is that your husband? That's a great thing. Thank you. Congratulations, husband. Man. What a picture. Well, we're going to have the country all set for your child, okay? All set. Because that's what it's about. Now, the media will say that's a prop. They say, no baby is so beautiful. That had to be a setup. I never saw that guy in my life, which is true. Thank you. Good luck. Thank you very much. We will enact trade deals that ensure more products are proudly stamped with those 4 beautiful words. Made in America, made in the USA. Either one is okay with me. Keep America great. That's right. We will give school choice to millions of underserved children who are trapped in failing government schools. We will defend privacy, free speech, religious liberty, and the right to keep and bear arms. They're going to take your guns away. And above all, we will never stop fighting for the values that bind us together as one great nation, as one America. It's one America. We believe in the American Constitution, and we believe in the rule of law. We believe in the dignity of work and in the sanctity of life. We believe that faith and family, not government and bureaucracy, are the true American way. We believe that children, like your child, should be taught to love our country, honor our history, and always respect our great American flag. And we live by the words of our national motto, "In God we trust." We are fighting for every American mom and dad who wants to protect this land of liberty for their precious children. We have been blessed with the greatest republic on the face of the earth, but it was going in the wrong direction, and now we are turning it around. It is going better than ever before, and we're going to keep it that way. We're going to keep it that way. With your help, with your devotion, with your drive, we are going to keep on working. We are going to keep on fighting. And we are going to keep on winning. We are one movement. One movement. Think of that. We are one big, beautiful movement. There has never been a movement like that. You don't hear it that often. They know it. But you don't hear it. In the history of our country, there has never been a movement like this. And this movement is stronger now than it was 3 years ago. This is the strongest movement in the history of our country. But we're one movement, we're one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. We're doing things that nobody thought was possible. No other nation thought it was possible what we're doing. We are so respected. You have no idea how our nation has gone so far up in the eyes and the minds of the rest of the world. So respected. Because together, we will make America wealthy again. Of course, we did just hit the highest price in the history of the market. So pretty soon, I hate to say, I don't want to ruin the rhetorical skill, but that is sort of like getting a little obsolete. We will make our nation wealthy again. The fact is, we have the strongest stock market in our history. So I think I'll have to change it. You've all heard it many times, right? We will make America wealthy again. We're going to have to say we have made America wealthy again, right? Right? So here's one. We will make America strong again. No, we're going to have to change this. We have made America strong again.